From the producer of There's Layers to This comes a new spin-off, Layers with V Dizzle, a solo series diving into the coolest corners of the internet. We're exploring breakthrough tech, digital art, pop culture, space innovation, and more. Streaming live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of Layers with V Dizzle. I'm your host, Valerie, aka V Dizzle. And if you're just joining and seeing this show, you may be wondering, wait, what happened to There's Layers to This? So that was a show I did with myself and Creatress, and now I am doing a solo series. So everything is pretty much the same feel, same sort of style and branding. Of course, we have Lorenzo, our mascot up there, the little Cryptodes. But for the next 5 weeks, I should be joined by a special guest, Keegan. So let's bring him up to stage to welcome him. Keegan, hello, you there? Can you hear me?
Hi. How are we doing?
How is it going over there?
Going great. It's summer. I'm in San Diego, and no complaints from my end.
Awesome. Well, for anyone who is new and you are just tuning into the show, Layers with V Dizzle is everything where we dive deep into the layers of not just blockchain, but layers of ourselves as humans and things that are happening in the world. So we cover things like tech with Web3, AI, blockchain, and we'll even cover things like art, space, and pop culture. So things change from week to week, and we try to give you some of the top headlines in the most easy and digestible ways. And so, yeah, if you've never seen or met me before, my name is Valerie, aka V Dizzle. I started in the space back in May of 2021 through Gary Vee, who is a well-known entrepreneur and marketing guru, and he started an NFT collection called VeeFriends. I was previously studying for surgery and rehabilitation for athletes, so I was on the sports medicine world, but I decided to come into the Web3 space, discovering with NFTs, and so I was actually able to be gifted my first NFTs from Gary. I won in a giveaway, and I had offers on the secondary market of 140,000 minimum, which was pretty insane to me. I didn't understand what the hype was all about. How could be people offering me real money through a digital currency? I really didn't understand. And because of that, I also didn't understand and know that there was cycles. I didn't know that things go up and down in the market. So I didn't sell that NFT for $140,000. I did end up selling, I think, towards the middle end of last year. So still made some profit there, but it's really not about, for me at least, really buying and selling all of these NFTs. I really wanted to understand the technology. So I started a meetup group here in San Diego called San Diego NFT Friends. And we still meet once a month where we have food and drinks. And oftentimes we'll have panels or speakers from reputable people who are building in the blockchain space. So if you're ever in town or know friends and family who could benefit, please reach out to me, and I would love to invite them to one of our meetups. With that being said, I really have a love for bringing people together and building out community and uplifting reputable, genuine people in the space. So much so that I started a Web3 event and media company called Red Rug Edutainment. So I've done a lot of these events to some of the bigger conferences like NFT NYC, Miami Art Basel, VCon, and so on and so forth, and just have great networking events. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, but I'll bring it over to my guest co-host today, Keegan.
All right. Well, thanks for all that, V Dizzle. Yeah, appreciate everything you're doing, putting this together and leading the charge, doing the live stream, doing the production. It's a lot of work, and I know you bring quality. So, yeah, happy to help and support. I'm currently on summer vacation. During the school year, I am a public education teacher. Was a public classroom teacher for 10 years in the classroom. I taught English and physical education. And then for the past 4 years, I've been a resource teacher at the district office, and this is in San Diego Unified School District. So 14 years collectively, and everything I'm doing for Web3 blockchains and NFTs is all on the side. It's all for fun and some brand building. So there's some fun and some business within it. But yeah, just happy to kind of help with you and everything that you're building and creating and trying out. And, I think there's a lot to learn in this space, and, shows like this and the things that you're doing are helping to give some learning opportunities to the people that maybe don't have it.
No, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I really appreciate you having the time, taking some time out of your summer vacation to help me kick off this new show, this new spinoff, and, starting my first season with it. So yeah, for people who don't know, Keegan and I are together. So we are a crypto couple, if you will. We do jump into this space together. We started off in the Web3 journey at the same time. So also thank you to Keegan for introducing me to Gary and his community, and my journey just started from there. So yeah, we've got some history. Are we ready? Are we ready to jump into today's news?
I think so. If you're trying to keep it to an hour, then I think, yeah, we need to.
We'll try our best. Sometimes we run over the hour for a little bit, but sometimes it's just worth it if we're on a really great topic or conversation. So we'll try to keep it to an hour. We'll see. We've just got some couple different headlines. So let's share the slides. Here we go. So this is season 1, episode 2. And the first piece of news we are going to share is about the Rekt drinks. So if you tuned in last episode, last Tuesday, you had heard about Rekt, right? So for those who don't know, there was an NFT project founded and started by OSF, and OSF created an NFT collection called Rekt Guy. And Rekt Guy was actually a free mint. I know Keegan over here, you didn't mint on free, did you? You got it off of secondary?
No, I actually won it in a giveaway in a Christmas Day contest. It's a sad story, but yeah, I was a very big advocate of that project for a while, and then finally I won it, and then I had it for a good year, a good year, and then made some not great decisions, which led to me not having it anymore. So yeah, that's a separate story, but yeah, continue. I like where you're going with this.
Well, so you were a holder, and so the great thing about this collection was it was free. And actually, I just read, which in this article I'll read to you guys in a bit, but they launched in 2022 during the bear market, and the collection actually didn't mint out, and which happens, during the bear market. It's really tough to sell out a whole collection, especially if it's a large collection, 10,000 plus, right? So the art collection was always meant to just be that art, but OSF started having these spaces, and he had a really strong community with Rekt. And so they started discussing about this potential of starting a brand. And so they started the Rekt brand. And so Rekt, they created a drink called Rekt, and they've done different collaborations and partnerships, such as with Abstract, with OpenSea, and Jupiter platform. And so actually the most recent one is with 7-Eleven. So they launched their energy drink. It's non-alcoholic, and they had these pop-up events just this past weekend. So they had one on June 19th, June 20th, and June 21st, all up in LA. And Keegan and I, unfortunately, didn't get to go. We had every intention on going, but it is summer break, and we live in San Diego, and that is a 3-hour drive. And so sometimes it's kind of hard to try to justify that drive and get the motivation and energy. So, just being at home sometimes is a little easier. But we definitely watched the scenes online on social media, and of course we supported. So let me open up this link if it will let me. Oh no. Okay, there we go. All right. And I think this is a really good article, really short, so I'll share it with you guys. Keegan, do I need to zoom in? Should I make it bigger?
Let me double check. I think it's all
Maybe
right.
let's zoom in a little bit. There we go.
Yeah.
I think that would be good. Okay. So this is an article coming from Decrypt covering kind of a little bit the history that I just shared with you guys, and also the 7-Eleven collaboration. So this article is titled "From Free NFT Mint to Drinks at 7-Eleven, Rekt is Reaching the Masses." So Rekt began life as a free Ethereum NFT drop, and now is a rising drink brand with cans hitting 7-Eleven stores this week. So let's get into it. So RektGuy didn't mint out its free NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain in 2022, but 3 years later, the brand has become incredibly familiar with the phrase "sold out," with drinks brand clearing out successive drops and reaching more and more consumers along the way. The brand, which weathered a brutal crypto bear market thanks in part to the strength of its fervent community, has now sold more than 600,000 cans of Rekt drinks, a non-alcoholic flavored sparkling water that comes in a variety of different flavors. And this week, the brand earned placement at 7-Eleven, starting with a trio of stores in Southern California. Rekt brand's co-founder Ovi Farouk, aka OSF, told Decrypt that it's kind of funny that the original RektGuy NFT offering didn't mint out. The project, which started as an art collection and a side quest for Farouk, has since morphed its way into a leading Web3 brand, with beverages helping it expand beyond the blockchain. And so this was their original post, like a little trailer. And then it says, we sort of had a decision to make. We didn't really promise anything. There was no roadmap, no promises made. It was really just meant to be an art collection, he said of RektGuy. But over the next 2 years, we seem to just have this really super sticky, tight-knit community that stuck around. It was during the summer of 2023 when ideas started to blossom about potential expansions. We spoke a while about RektGuy versus Rekt as a concept. We had put the logo on a few things, and it sort of felt like this Rekt thing could be a brand, Farouk said, adding that the goal became getting the logo in as many places as possible. Drinks felt like a natural connection, according to Farouk, thanks in part to the ability to manufacture them cheaply, plus the connection to RektGuy's imagery, which features a hooded skeleton holding a drinking bottle. With no experience in drinks, the team brought on an advisor who had started a drinks company in the UK. Through trial and error, they got a cans of Rekt into the hands of attendees at NFT Paris in 2024, and they liked it. The feedback was really good. It was surprisingly good, said Farouk. Considering we had no experience in drinks, we just kind of like made up this drink to fuck around and find out, so to speak. It was really, really good feedback. From there, the team decided to try to manufacture a bigger batch and sell them, leading to its first major sale of liquidated lime drinks last October, a collection of 222,000 drinks that it sold out in 48 hours. So it looks like Vinny made it to the 7-Eleven stop. So he did a little post. I think you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Funny enough, little side detail, if you scroll back up to the picture of them.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually have interviewed both of them on my other show, Token Talk. So I actually have interviewed each one of them at different events. I interviewed Vinny Hager at VCon Part 1. I interviewed OSF in Miami 2023, I believe. Maybe 22.
That's true. You did. That's a good point. You
Take
might
that.
need to interview them again. They've been up to a lot since then. So
Yeah, if we would have went up there to LA, I would have probably tried to. I know he was at all three of the days, is what I saw, and yeah, he made a really
Did
nice. No, OSF, but
Oh.
he made a really cool tweet today too, and maybe we'll share it at the end of this. But go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so prior to the sale, Rect built out a rewards program to incentivize users to engage with the brand, rewarding drink points to those who participated in social quests and drink purchasers as well. By earning points, users were later eligible to claim Rect Coin, aka Rect, an Ethereum-based token tied to the brand. So, full disclosure, I own Rect Coin. I did not get it for free. I bought it on the secondary, and at the time, I bought like $300 worth of Rect. So, full disclosure. I was really inspired by the Solana phone, said Farouk, about the Solana Sega, an Android smartphone that initially faced weak demand, but then sold out once the Bonk meme coin offered to buyers surged in value. No one touched it. Tons of supply left. But as soon as people could claim a $500 Bonk airdrop, the phone sold out in like 24 hours. After its initial success, the brand teamed up with Ethereum Layer 2 network Abstract for a drop of Abstract Apple, a new flavor of its sparkling water, setting out even faster than before. After that, we just had tons of people reaching out to us for collaboration, said Farouk, whose brand also dropped drinks via collabs with NFT marketplace OpenSea and Solana decentralized exchange aggregator Jupiter. But beyond the crypto walls, the connections didn't always come easily. No one's really heard of us outside of crypto. We did the first sale, and people are sort of wondering if this is a one-hit wonder sort of thing, he said, adding that the brand's crypto origins initially led to some skepticism as well. You tell people the story, they express some interest, but there wasn't really a ton of movement, he added. But after the Abstract and OpenSea drops, the brand started to pick up some momentum that has carried into its placement in 7-Eleven stores, placing Rect alongside giants of the beverage industry. So look at that. I love this advertisement. It says spend $10, get $100. So this is a post by Acol NFT. With 7-Eleven, I just think we had a very strong pitch to them, said Farouk. This is the perfect product for a 7-Eleven store, and we can get a ton of people out to the stores when we launch it and make it some really big thing and a really good launch. They were on board. The brand carried out its first 7-Eleven activation on Thursday, overselling its initial planned supply of 600 cans in the process. The cans were priced at $2.80 a pop, or $10 for a 4-pack. Another event took place Friday, with the last set for Saturday, and early 4-pack buyers each day will earn an allotment of Rect tokens as well. You never really know if people will turn up to stuff when it's not a crypto event, Farouk told Decrypt of the initial Thursday event. But we had a good turnout, and all the drinks selling out was obviously nice. So there you have it. It looks like the Rect event that unfortunately we didn't attend, but it looked like it was a great turnout. So any thoughts on that, Keegan? I know you said you're sad you couldn't make it either. But what do you think?
As I said before, like I just think they're doing all the right stuff. And what I mean by that is that it's the charge is being led by like the leader. Like he's out there, he's in the field, he's with the people, he's online, they do spaces, they do video like sessions, he's just a participant and he's really showing it in the forefront and he's actually following through and closing loops. And so and the thing that I really appreciate is that it's been a slow and steady type of thing versus, hey, here's huge hype, here's huge hype, here's huge hype. And then it just, the hype dies. Rather than that, it's actually like, here's something, let's build off of it. Here's something, let's build off of it. Here's something, let's build off of it. And so, you know, as I've said before, like I think like VeeFriends and Gary Vee do a really great job about that. Again, he's another example where he's out there on the live streams, going to the card events, like for trading cards, for the Topps Chrome national events, all that stuff. Like, so he's a participant being proactive and he's talking about it. He's showing it. He's doing it, showing up, being present, making an impact. That's exactly what a strong ground game is. And so it's like, I just think they're going to continue to grow more and more. And, you know, I don't know if you're able to bring it up or if you want me to bring it up, but he did a really great tweet today as like a follow-up to it, basically, like his thoughts. Do you want me to do it or do you want to do it?
Go ahead if you know where it is, and go ahead and share it.
Here, let me send it to you. And then can I send it in the chat?
Or is it's a tweet you said?
Yeah.
By who?
If you go to OSF's.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it's one of his first ones. Let's see.
Okay, which one? Rex?
So from 6 hours ago.
6 hours, right here. Let me gamble.
Yeah, and I can read it too real quick if you want.
Let me ramble.
Yeah.
No, I read that as let me gamble. Wow. Okay, is it large enough for you? Should I zoom in like that?
I don't see it on the screen on the main screen, but
let me add it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is from just a few hours ago, and so this is like, you know, post the whole weekend events or last week's event. It says, "Let me ramble on something important here. When we started speaking to traditional beverage industry guys about rec drinks a year ago, it was met with a lot of skepticism. If you mentioned, quote, crypto, it literally to anyone would immediately assume it was a scam and we would get nowhere. Over the past 12 months, we've witnessed a change in presidency and a complete U-turn in the U.S. regulators' approach to crypto. It's gone from people instantly assuming, quote, scam to realizing that this is going to form a major part of the business and economics in America." And he's someone who's also in Europe based. Now, when we mention crypto to trad people, it instantly piques their interest because they're mainly wondering how the fuck does this everything work and keen to hear about how people are using it, plus success stories for real world crypto stuff. It genuinely puts us 10 years ahead of every single other brand out there because we have a brand coin and we are crypto native and fully understand how it works. The physical demonstrations we did at 7-Eleven stores last week also made things seem a lot more tangible. And that's something I also was like talking about last week on the show, is that like you're getting to see it, you're getting to feel it, you're getting to go through the process, like you're connecting with the brand in a different way. Like that dynamic part, I think, is super important. And this is just my teacher lens looking at it now. And it said the physical demonstrations we did at 7-Eleven stores last week also made things seem a lot more tangible. With Abstract, you can generate a wallet linked to your email in 2 taps, and people were able to claim the REC token in under a minute. Every store, if you go back up a little bit, right there. Every store owner, industry people we had to attend were kind of blown away that they were able to give away $100 in, quote, REC token for every $10 purchase, like actual real money. Right now, the reward pool is worth 50 million market cap, which we essentially have as a marketing budget for future sales. As the market capitalization of REC coin increases, as does the reward pool, i.e. 1 billion market cap, would mean a 380 million reward pool. So in my opinion, this is the power of crypto, and there is no one else doing this right now. But as crypto regulation in the US improves, expect more and more of this from startups. REC token is just 10 steps ahead of the game. So I think like that just kind of like gives a really good perspective in terms of the conviction, the conviction he has, B, what they're actually doing, put it into practice, and C, his knowledge of the finance sector. Like he used to do regular TradFi stuff back in the day before. And then he's taking all of his knowledge and context from what he knows. He's seeing what's happening now in regulation in the US. He's participating in it in his avenue with his community. And you can connect all the three, and you can really know how to navigate and help do as much as you can with the tools, the time, and where the tech is at. And this is a great, great example, in my opinion. And then furthermore, to collaborate with Abstract, and they're doing an event in New York this week as well together, like a whole event that they're doing. But to make it easier, like that's what we've talked about for so long, was like, who is bringing on new people? Who is bringing on new? Now, mind you, a chunk of those people that went to the LA event were probably community members, but there probably was a good chunk of new people that came in that were not crypto people, that they're like, oh, okay, I just got to buy 4 and I get 100. All right, I'll try it. This is neon color. It's money. I'll go through the process. You just need my email. Okay, fine. And so then you claim that. And then think about this. Now, in 1 year or 6 months, let's say they're not someone who participates day in and day out like you and I, follows the feed and does all this stuff. If they just go back and check, like, oh, I remember this, maybe they get an email notification and they log in. All of a sudden, that was $100 thing. Now maybe it's worth 200 or 300. They're like, oh, I didn't do anything. Then that may spark the interest of, okay, what is this about crypto? And then they may start investigating it more. So it's that first touch point of entry of how you're going to like start exploring and start learning. Talked about it with VeeFriends, with the cards. It's another example. I think it's just really, really great stuff.
No, I agree. I remember you like so bullish on, getting the Rect guy. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. Like the art, right? It's like the actual NFT, was like neon, and it was like, was it like blinking? It was pretty like animated, interactive. And
on top of it too, just to add more too, before I forget, like, he also posts in his Discord. Once you have the token, there's a whole channel for all of his inputs on his thoughts for the space for the day. So Monday through Friday, he's posting up his thoughts right there for everybody to see. So he's consistently put in work. And I'm really dumb for selling it. Let's just say that. I should have kept it. I'm gonna get another one when it dies down a little bit.
Listen, there is a long history of me telling Keegan not to sell his NFTs. Every time, you need to start taking my advice. It's not financial advice, just
Anyway, it's just it's really I'm really happy, and it's positive to see. Like, it makes me feel good about the space, that this is something that's happening. And then again, from the right leadership, from the top down, that's what I think can make the difference, to actually take something from here to here, versus someone who's maybe at the top, but maybe they don't fully buy in, or maybe they don't understand it, or maybe they don't understand the full picture. That's a harder hill to climb than someone who's like, hey, I'm up here. Let me help pull you up. Let me help throw you the rope so you can climb up this quicker, So I think it's just really cool. It's really cool to see.
No, yeah, like I was saying was, starting from that NFT that was like a free mint, seeing you get in on it, be super bullish on it, regardless, you sold, you had your reasons, but regardless, like just seeing OSF do these spaces that he started, and he started with doing giveaways with Rollbit, and that's how you won. Was it through Rollbit that you won your?
No, it was actually, I don't even remember. It was some other like
retweet,
it was some other project. It's just it was just like it was on X. It was just like follow, retweet, and then did a random like giveaway, and I won it. Yeah.
Well, either way, Rollbit was this cool mechanism he was using on Twitter to give away other like prizes, whether it was crypto tokens, sometimes big other NFT projects. Like I think he gave away a Bored Ape before on there. So he's always been about the community and doing things in collaboration with the community, which I think, it's really interesting because he launched this project in 2022, where, a year prior, there was all these other NFT projects that launched, yet OSF has been able to, I would say, kind of lead more of the charge than some of the other OG projects that have been before him, and some of them don't even exist anymore. And so, yeah, whoever's part of the OSF community with Rex Guy, I'm sure is super ecstatic, but I can't afford one of those NFTs. So when he launched the Rect token, I was like, this guy knows what he is doing. On top of that, he's also in like the traditional finance space. He knows about money. He knows about how the economy works. I'm like, this guy has it all. He's also very sociable. He, listens and everything to his community. So I'm like, all right, let me just buy some of his tokens. So that's why I said full disclosure, like I do own some of the token, but it's because I do believe in what he's doing. Whether or not the token takes off, jumps up in price, I'm not really worried about that. It's more so like I want to show my support for what he's doing, and what better way than to like support the products that he's built,
And you also too said, I remember when you first, just to like kind of touch on it real quick before we move on. I remember when they first deployed the token last year, I think it was November 24 is what I read recently. You even noticed and were like, they did it on regular Ethereum. And then now,
right.
And so it's like that takes like a depth of knowledge to know like, well, why this or why that or why that. So, there's probably a lot more conviction now, again, continuing from him and the team. Like, let's go on here. This is where some of the original ones like Pepe and a few other things that were on ETH, like it's smart. Right. It's a smart thing. And now
and then he involved AI. Like he gave AI some Rect coin, and that was the whole thing. So he's done some experimenting and exploring, but he is always at the forefront with the tech, with the crypto, with the NFTs. Like he is, and with with trading.
And they give a lot of knowledge for free, and that's why I started listening early, because I was like, I'm going to listen to someone that I feel like knows what they're talking about versus somebody who just like, okay, I spend time, degenning. But if someone who has the background, like legitimately, like they can actually speak on different perspectives and narratives. So yeah, go check out Rect Radio. So they do a Wednesday show every Wednesday. So yeah, tomorrow they're doing it.
Yes. Real quick, want to shout out Young Scrimmage, who's saying GM with a can of tomato sauce. He is part of the Pizza DAO community, and my guy who I go to with anything I need in the Pizza DAO. He is there. So shout out to him. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Someone else that I want to talk about that I actually forgot to put in the slides, but I think because we're on the topic of founders who are boots on the ground, who are with the community, who are leading the charge, trying to bridge that gap between digital and IRL and physical. Someone else who is doing that is Luca from Pudgy Penguins. And so many of you might have seen this, and if not, this is news for you, because NASDAQ exchange, okay, we all know about NASDAQ in New York. They brought on the Pudgy Penguins to ring the opening bell. So this was just yesterday. VanEck US is ringing the NASDAQ exchange opening bell alongside Web3 leaders bridging crypto, tech, and finance. Here's to shaping the future of investing. So we saw some of our friends there. So shout out to Dong Lee, who has been doing many of the IRL Pudgy activations and events. She was in attendance, but yeah, they had their mascot, the Pudgy Penguin, there. You can see them in Times Square here. A large crowd coming up, and yeah, they were on live television. So that was cool. And there you see Luca. Luca right there in the back. Just kind of hanging out there, and someone holding up the Pudgy plushie, which for those who don't know, they also sell their plushies inside Walmart stores where kids can go and open up their boxes, scan a QR code, get a little miniature version, a digital version, and to go and play inside their virtual world, which they're also working on, by the way. So yeah, that was pretty cool to watch happen. And many people, look at this, many of their holders really happy and excited. Bag secured. So there's Luca saying huddle. So yeah, looks like some pretty good stuff. And another person who is just nonstop, just helping the crypto space move forward, and who is always super super nice in person. I've had the privilege of meeting Luca multiple times at his own events, at other side events. And that guy is just a gentle giant, and he is giant. He is tall, but he is super, super nice. And yeah, definitely make sure you give Luca a follow, because just like OSF, he is leading the charge. Before I move on, Keegan, was there anything you wanted to touch on with this, or any comments?
Not too much. I mean, I think like Pudgy Penguins at this point is the actions speak louder than words, and they're there and they're producing, they're closing loops, they're showing, and they're, again, top down leadership. In my opinion, it's not mandatory, but it's like when you have someone who is much more forward facing, I think it can help like really move the process a lot quicker. And at the same time, it's like you're going to see different buy-in, in my opinion, when you see like the people that are helping to lead out there with the people getting their hands dirty, like rolling up their sleeves, going to the events, doing the live streams, doing the spaces, like actually like being there. And that right there, that means a lot. And that doesn't cost them money. That costs them some time. Now, some can argue, well, time is money and money is time. Like, I get that. But it's like, it's not an extra budget item. But when you do something like that for as being like leadership, that holds weight and that holds value. And so he's, again, someone who's also been doing that for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And I think that like, I'm sure like in the early time, like before they really started to blow up, they had a lot of doubters as well. Kind of, and that's what kind of like what OSF was saying as well, indicating like, oh, nobody would listen to us. They took it as a joke. I remember Luca used to do spaces. And when they did the spaces, he would talk about before they did the Amazon launch and they launched the toys. And so like people weren't taking him serious, but then once it sold out like very fast, like all of a sudden they have that as the talking reference point. Like, oh, we did X amount of sales in X amount of time. It's the same type of thing when OSF and Rekt drinks and they talk about, oh, we sold out 2,000 units or 100,000 units, like very fast. And it's like, those are talking points in the data and numbers that you can't deny. And so when you bring that to the table, all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, And I think this is the problem also too. It's like when you try to go to other companies that are not Web3 native or blockchain or crypto native, and you pitch ideas. And again, I'm not in those tables, but I've worked in enough things here at the district level where I can kind of see like how upper management, let's call it, or let's say different viewpoints really affect how things are going to navigate. And so just because the other group or party doesn't necessarily understand or connect the dots, they're already going to kind of like not take it as credibility. But when you bring data and numbers and points of interest like that, all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, I can't deny that. So I need to at least listen and hear and be humbling myself and understand like I don't know everything. Because that's another issue, is that sometimes the companies in upper management think they know everything, but then they don't want to admit when they're wrong or they don't know something. So I think now these are two groups of individuals and communities that are putting up and shutting everybody up, and they're actually delivering. And people are going to look back and remember, oh shit, that I remember when they were small. I remember when people doubted, like, and then all of a sudden you just sell, you just get out there with the community.
History in the making. I mean, this is something we have, we're watching in real time. And Rekt Coin, Rekt NFT, Rekt Guy NFTs, Pudgy Penguins with their token Pengu, like those are two projects
similar
to keep your eye out on. They're similar, and they're doing it in their own ways, from coins to plushies to energy drinks. Like these are ways that is just things that are relatable for people, like picking up a Red Bull or picking up a Monster. People know energy drinks. Kids, having an Elmo, plushie or something, and they see a cute little penguin who's pudgy, like these are just ways to get people to even just take a look at crypto, right?
And to further reiterate, it's like the tech that they're using, we're all familiar with it now. If you're watching this right now on X, more than likely you're in blockchain in some way, shape, or form. NFTs, meme coins trading, like you're around it.
Right.
But they're preparing, and in my opinion, they're positioning themselves for the few years ahead. Because I think OSF said it in a tweet, but I know Lucas definitely talked about it before. Is like when you have community tokens, like once that like concept of like new people getting these tokens, like what they just did with the rec drink at the 7-Eleven events, once they have that in new hands and new users, you're building a different bridge that's different. Like you're building a different bridge for community activations and different things. Once you start to implement that, once the rails are there for people to utilize it, when you can go to an event or a party and you can use, oh, it's going to be 10 Pengu to get this ice cream. Or if you want to get this limited edition Rect hoodie, you need to spend 100 Rect tokens. And that's the only way you can get it. It's like, okay, that's just going to drive interest. It's going to drive value. It's going to drive transactions, and it's going to move the community token in value. And so I think they're both positioning themselves really well for it. And it's not about where the market cap currently is, but in 5 years from now, once the brand grows and the IP grows, the token will follow with it in the value, in my opinion. And so it's going to be really cool to see how these projects and whoever else decides to do something like this, how the creativity of integrating it within the community ecosystem, that's where we'll see some special and some magic stuff happening. And so I can't speak highly enough from what they're doing right now, both of them.
Yeah, so not only are we seeing things happen on the blockchain, it's ingrained in history, but we've got video footage and live streams going on that also show the timeline. We've got Young Scrimmage in the comments saying, what are the perks for owning a Pudgy? So I don't own a Pudgy NFT. It is definitely out of my price range. But if it's in your price range, some of the cool things that I've seen that I always get really jealous of, and I guess it just depends on how online you are, but there is a Toka gated channel inside their Discord, and they have a voice channel called The Huddle. And this is where you get to hear from their founder and CEO, Luca Netz, talk directly to the community. This is it's not a recorded voice channel. They don't post it on X. It's just strictly for holders. Because inside there, Luca shares his ideas and shares basically the alpha of what they're going to do next. And he will hear from community members, get input with them. So it's called their huddle chat. So that is probably one of the biggest perks. I know that there's been a handful of holders who have been able to license their actual Pudgy NFT and be part of the plushie collection that are now in Walmart. I have heard that they're going to want to do a second round of people to license out those Pudgy NFTs. And I think also too, your character gets to be inside their online virtual, I don't know if it's going to be a game or hangout or a multitude of things, but their metaverse they're creating, your Pudgy will get to be featured in there. And one of the other cool things is if you are a streamer on Abstract or a participator on Abstract, which is a layer 2 on Ethereum, you get extra reward points. What are those reward points going to be down the line? I don't know. We are like in week, I don't know. What week are we in on Abstract?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's been
at least 2-3 months, maybe more than that. No, it's been more than that.
It started in February.
It started February, yeah. So what is that? February, March, April, May, June. So yeah, we're 4 months in. So 4 months in of earning reward points for participating on Abstract, whether you're streaming or you're playing some of their games on the platform. You, as a Pudgy holder, you get 88,888 experience points, right? XP. So again, what are those points going to translate into? We don't know. Speculation is that there could be an abstract token launch. So maybe it's a 1-to-1. I don't know. But yeah, so that's just kind of the speculation.
Not
But
financial advice.
What's that?
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice, but definitely if I had the means to, I would pick one up. Young Skirmish says maybe Pizza DAO will cop one. LOL.
Definitely should cop.
Okay.
Well, too, before I forget, like another, like I don't know now, other than the stuff you mentioned, yeah, but I know before, if you were holding when they did the airdrop for Pengu, I know that they got like, my understanding is like 80K.
Yeah.
And Scrimmage, they got like 80K claim.
Right.
It was claim / airdrop for Pengu token. So just by holding Pudgy Penguin, you got the claim of Pengu valued at like 80K. Again, not financial advice. So that was a pretty big perk, in my opinion, that you were able to get. So, you know, these are just unique, creative ways, again, that the tokens are being utilized. And I think we're just barely starting to see that happen now, because this was not really in play in 2021 NFTs when we came into this space. But now, when you have like people in the administration doing their own meme coin, like this shit's gonna happen more frequently. Whoever does it well, they're gonna turn to the people like, oh, okay, how did you do this? Let me pay you for your time because I want to learn how I can do this with my major company, with like the Fords and like the Chevys and like the Red Bulls and like all those companies that are like reputable name brands that have like multi-million dollars when they come into this space in a different way, because some did that back in 21, 22. But when they understand this dynamic, I think that if it's carried out well, it's going to create value in a different way that will really entice people to actually like be active and like want to get those rewards. Because I mean, let's be honest, the loyalty rewards that we get from a lot of stuff in our day to day is not huge. Like I have the app for Chipotle, I have the app for freaking Blaze Pizza. You know, I have all these rewards like Vons, right? You have all these rewards, but to be honest, they're not really giving that much back. They're not. Like,
right.
I'd say the El Pollo Loco app, they did pretty decent. Like, I've gotten a free burrito just for signing up with that. I've gotten like $6 off, like just the like Tostada Bowl. Like, they have a pretty okay, let's say an okay loyalty rewards. But generally speaking, a lot of them are not great. They're not great for sure.
Yeah.
Some are pretty good and some are like kind of good. So anyway, loyalty rewards utilizing community tokens, I think that's going to be a really big deal once like the infrastructure, the crypto rails are built out properly and you could do it smoothly. And so I'm excited for something like that.
I mean, Bored Apes were kind of the first to do it, right? With airdropping ApeCoin. And then, you have Pudgy with their Pengu. And each individual is taking home, you know, around estimated 80,000, give or take. But sheesh, you know, just for buying something that was way lower. And then that's the value you get back down the line. And that's the thing, though, is that you have to be a loyal holder. Like, these things were not said from the get-go, right? These were things that like happened months, if not like a year plus later. So
and every community and every project, like, it's going to be different for everybody. Like, that's what it's not going to be a one size fits all, but there are certain variables that you can take from these models that are being built, and you can kind of take, well, what's going to work for Keegan or what's going to work for VDizzle. Like, but you need to be able to understand those variables first, right? To see like, oh, I can apply and use this. It's in each, if we look at just those three, let's talk about real quick, because I know we want to move on. But when we talk about like Pudgy Penguins and Luca, we talk about OSF and Rhett Guy, we talk about Gary V and VeeFriends. They're all three different leader types, but they're all operating. They're all forward facing.
They all have their own like skills and strengths, and then their own like networks that they like are able to do partnerships with, collaborations with, and stuff.
Like, if you go look at like OSF stuff, he does art regularly, like, and that stuff will sell out. So not only do you have that skill set to deploy, oh well, he's doing an artist, he's doing an operating, he knows the finances, he's building the company. Like, you know what it's like now to run a business, how many variables that are connected and how unique you need to be and how many hats you have to wear. Like, I don't think Luca's doing art. I don't think he's an artist, but he probably
No, but
can
Luca
operate.
knows social media. Like he knows Instagram, he knows
Right.
TikTok, and like the gifs with pudgy penguins is
Right.
astounding.
And so some people like criticize like him from before, like, oh, his old biz, they didn't do that. Like our neighbor was actually very like used to criticize like Pudgy Penguins because he was in NFTs. Our old neighbor at the time, he had a lot of doubts. And so I just think back to like conversations like that when people were saying like not supportive things, and and then this just like, all right, well, they get proved wrong. It takes time.
You have to have conviction. You have to have the conviction.
You do.
I think I do want to add, I think we can just go on and on about this topic. We get really passionate because you and I go to a lot of IRL events. And when you make those trips to New York, to Miami, you're making the drive up to LA, you go to Nashville, you go to Minnesota, wherever those events are, you're looking for the founders. Who are there? And they're talking to the community. Are they on stage? Are they on the main stage?
You hope they're there.
You're hoping they're there. You're trying to look at their Twitter. You're trying to ask, some of the community members if they have heard anything. Is your founder going to be there? And it's a big deal because if they're there, they're showing face. They're talking about the project, and hopefully they're either on a main stage or a side stage of the conference. And if they're not doing that, they better be like having a side event, right? Or if they're not doing that, they better be taking meetings with other founders or networking in some way. And so Keegan and I have really been focusing on which founder of these early 2021, 2022 projects, which founders are still there. Which founders are still showing up? Which founders are still advocating for the project that they founded and that the community that is still behind them? Which ones are there? And time again, it's freaking Luca. Luca's there. And if it's not Luca, he has the CTO speaking or the CFO speaking. He has someone from the team speaking, and they're having side events, right? Like Luca is always there, and they throw some of the best events because they're friendly, not just for crypto people, but for anyone wanting to experience the brand. So Luca's there. And speaking of Pizza DAO, we know Snacks is always there too. And that's why he's a really great founder too, to bet on and go get a Pizza DAO NFT. Not financial advice. I hold one. I am part of the DAO. But he's another person who is always boots on the ground.
Yeah, and shout out to Pizza DAO for talk about being consistent. They've everything they've done and achieved, and like go Google and look up Bitcoin Pizza Day and all the events that they've helped like really like lead the charge on. And actually, I need to get him on my show so he can talk about some of his journey more, because I feel like he needs to get more FaceTime to really like put the brand in the new eyes of people that maybe haven't experienced it, or they don't know the story, or they don't know how much work
you have a different audience for sure that should learn about Pizza DAO.
And who doesn't like pizza? I mean, yeah, I know you have lasagna as a background, but I'm all about pizza. I could eat pizza multiple times per week. But one thing I do want to say, like going back to the leading by example, like the thing that the 7-Eleven thing with Rec Drinks, that reminded me of the event that you and I went to, I think it was last year, when Gary Vee was here in San Diego, up in was it not Oceanside? It was
when he partnered with Everbowl.
And he was there at the frozen yogurt, fresh fruit like event, Everbowl.
Yeah.
Google this. He was there. There was a line of people that showed up. We made the drive up from here to San Diego to there was like 40 minutes.
Gary Vee partnered with the founder of Everbowl. Everbowl is a company that's based all around US. They have different locations, and they sell like smoothies and acai bowls. And so Gary has an NFT character called Focused Falcon. And so when you think of focused and when you think of healthy ingredients, what healthy ingredients help with focus? And so one of those ingredients is blueberries. You'll find blueberries in acai bowls. So that was a cool collaboration that he did with the founder of Everbowl. And we went to here. Gary Vee came down to one of the locations here in San Diego, had a pop-up activation where you can go and get like a cool little VeeFriend branded like token, kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese golden token that you
I
get.
wish I would have got more looking back. I wish I would, honestly, with how the collectibles are going now in the community with comics and cards, like I wish I would have got like a handful of those gold tokens that has
So
the
yeah, these tokens you put into these little vending machines, you turn the little knob and then out pops a cool little character. And you know, if you're ever a young kid in school, those pencil toppers that you put on top of the erasers of your pencils were really cool. So inside of those little toys that you get, it was a pencil topper. So that was a cool little thing you could get. And then of course you get to go and claim a free bowl, a free acai bowl, whether you were a Focused Falcon holder or not, but you could still go and get one. So that was cool.
But but it was a nice activation for people to, again, going to your point, connect with like who's the leading, who's the CEO. Like he was there taking pictures, signing autograph. Like I got five unopened Uno card boxes signed by him. And he's like, oh, these are gonna be worth money.
Don't sign all.
Yeah. So I'm seriously considering I am gonna do the whatnot thing, but I'm thinking like,
all right, wait, let's not get into that. Let's not get on.
Anyway,
that.
leaders there.
Whole other conversation. The main point here is that these founders of these NFT projects, it's key if they can show up to IRL events. Okay. And if they can't, they better be super active, hosting their own spaces, being guests on other spaces, like just being out there, getting the word out about what they're doing, what they're innovating on, what their product is, whatever it is, you know.
Or just connecting. I think just connecting with the community actually like that holds like some value. Like, oh, what are you into? What do you like? Like, what are your other side hobbies other than Web3? Like, because they do, Forgotten Runes does that. Their leadership is on their regular weekly spaces too. Like, I think it's just playing whatever you can do and then just leaning into that, right? And it, again, maybe you don't divulge all the alpha and secrets, but it's like, I just think like doing that part it's much needed by a number of projects in general.
Yeah. And so there's really only a handful I can think of, but those are the ones that are leading the charge, and keep a really keep an eye on them. Is where I'll end it with that. But yeah, let's move on. We're already coming. There's only a couple minutes left for our show. We've got lots of other news to cover. So Keegan, you and I, we need to tone it down on these conversations. We need to keep it short because we have a lot more to still go through. Let's see. Here we go. So this is your news you wanted to share about what's happening with Twitter on X. So this is our mainstream layer. So we're going down the layers of lasagna here. And right now we're on the mainstream layer. So what's happening in this layer, Keegan?
Yeah, so this is something that I caught my eye last week, I believe on the 19th. And it's actually was the first one that I saw was on the right. And then I followed it up today with the other two that I did a little more research on. But so the Cannes Film Fest, not film festival, but like the event that they have every year, it's all marketing, it's all like advertisements, it's all media, culture, like all that stuff that happens once a year. And they were there. She's the CEO. For those that don't know, she's the CEO of X, which a chunk of us are on right now. And there's probably like a handful of us watching, 28 people watching on my end and 38 on your end. So she's basically emphasizing the point. And if you look at the tweet on the right, it says, breaking CEO Linda Yaccarino, is how you say it? Yaccarino, reveals what's coming next on S. Quote, in the US, we're about to launch X Money. Soon you're going to be able to live your whole financial life on the platform. Peer-to-peer payments, stored value, pay a creator, watch pay-per-view, etc. I think that's a great idea to move things in a new direction. Some people may argue, well, I don't want all my stuff on there. I don't want to have all my stuff in one ecosystem. That's fine. I just think that this is an opportunity where things are being built and it's going to become a new norm. If you look on the left, the tweet, it says, at the Cannes Lions 2025 today, CEO Linda joined Chris at MediaLink Beach to discuss how X is reshaping real-time connection and what it means for advertisers. So the live streaming, in my opinion, is going to be pushed more from the platform. Like a year ago, we talked about how video was going to be more integrated. It slowly but surely has. I thought it was going to be a lot faster. It took a lot more time. Then, if you look at the middle one, it says game recognizes game. More unfiltered combos like today's coming soon from quote or at X Originals. What is X Original? So they're going to be producing their own live stream shows. Serena Williams, tennis star, most people I'm sure know the name. She's going to host a podcast with her sister on exclusively on X. So I just went to do a little bit of recon today to see. And so I poked around on X Originals, and you guys can go check it out. It's right there. But if you look at it, there was one. Let me bring it. I don't need to bring it up, but I'm just gonna I want to give you the right name because I was like, wow, I could not believe it. So I scrolled down. Okay, and they had basically in one of their tweets referenced this handle called @GoingPublic. The season 3 investing opens to the world during the June 24th live event. Going Public members get early access join today. And then there's a link in their bio for X events. So they were doing a live stream today. And guess how many live stream viewers they had?
Probably in the thousands.
Try 350,000 live viewers.
Oh, wow.
So again, and when you clicked on their link to the X events, it was, again, maybe I've missed it all these times, but this is the first time I've clicked on one where I saw the live stream. And then there's like kind of the layout when you click on X articles, and it has the title, and then it has 3 other little windows of videos underneath, and then like a write-up underneath. So again, they're helping to create the infrastructure for more things to happen when it comes to live stream, when it comes to the payments, when it comes to I think the Poly Market was another variable a week or 2 ago that I talked about, how they're going to integrate that. They also integrated the new chat, which is more cleaner. It's more encrypted is my understanding. But if you click the video, if you guys look it up right there where she's talking at that event, she kind of emphasizes that point. Like, I think she's like, oh, are you able to play it or no?
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Gets a little hyped. It's not the best angle, but she gets good points.
About to launch.
Okay, wait. Hold on. Let me make sure I have volume all the way up. Rewind. All right.
In the US, we're about to launch X Money. You've seen the enhancements with X Chat for premium users, off the charts capability. So think about what we're doing. Instead of getting distracted by clickbait noise, you're thinking about more people coming to the platform to spend more time to do more things. Soon you're going to be able to live your whole financial life on the platform. Peer-to-peer payments, stored value, pay a creator, watch a pay-per-view. I mean, come on, we're talking about what's next, not what stuff you talk about. It's like a fantasy of the past. So I wouldn't be here spending jam-packed 5 days if we didn't have tremendous partners. In the US, we're about to.
There you go. So she makes the point. We're not just going here to freaking like for shits and giggles. We're going to this event because we have partners that are going to do real fucking damage in a good way.
Hey, this is a friendly show.
Excuse me. Real freaking damage in a positive way. It's going to disrupt, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think they're going to be the first ones out of the gate to do it. And I'm sure Facebook is going to follow. TikTok is going to follow. They're all going to follow. But I think what they're using the phrase that she's used the phrase that we talk about in this Web3 blockchain space, paying the creators, store of value. Like, those are all norms, fundamentals that we talked about over the past years. She's talking about it now, integrated into one of the biggest social platforms. It's going to be like a pretty big deal, in my opinion, if that becomes normalized, which in my opinion, I do believe it will be. And I don't think people are really paying attention or absorbing that enough. But once they integrate these little systems into this social media platform, which you and I, again, spend plenty of time, these users on here spend plenty of time, it's going to just give you more things to do. And it's like, that's what you need. You need to have something to do. And so for NFT projects, going back to them, it's like, well, what's going to be the reasoning for community members to spend time with your project? What are you doing? What value are you creating? We got to have something to do. If you do one post once a week or twice a week, that's not going to cut it. If other projects are doing 1-2 posts and then XYZ, ABC, like multiple avenues. So I just think having more things to do here on this platform and more integration is going to allow more people to explore and build and actually like do things a little bit differently.
I agree. Now we go from talking about crypto and tech, tech, blockchain tech, right? That's all decentralized. We are talking about centralized tech here, mind you, with X. But I do think it's worth it. We are here talking about it because we have to be at the forefront of all emerging tech, right? If you want to make it in this world and stay up to date, and whether, you're trying to grow, your social following, or you have a business, it's important to stay ahead of these trends, right? And because I think back on a time of like when I used to be on MySpace, and everybody was talking about Facebook. And I was like, why am I going to look at Facebook? Like, I'm happy with my MySpace. And then I was like, all right, everybody, once everybody I knew was on Facebook, then I was like, okay, I'm going to hop over there. But I was kind of late. Like, I was like, dang, all of my friends already have like large followings. Then Instagram came out and I'm on Facebook. I'm like, why am I going to go on Instagram? I have my Facebook. It's all those things, right? So, and then it's the same thing with TikTok. We see people like making money on TikTok with their large followings, getting sponsors and partners, and then also doing TikTok lives, TikTok shop, like selling things, right? So like we can kind of see like these periods in time where tech was emerging. And I know many of you have similar stories like me, where you're just like, why should I get on that platform? Why should I go do that? And then eventually you show up late, but only because all of your friends and family are there. So don't be late. Start, if you can, doing live streams, getting familiar with the platform, because there are opportunities. As Linda, CEO, or sorry, not CEO, but what's her role again?
CEO?
I'm blanking. Huh?
The CEO of X?
Yeah, CEO, right? Yeah, I was right. Okay, CEO.
Kind of a big leadership role.
Yeah, CEO of X, the platform that we're streaming on. We're also streaming on Abstract. We're also streaming on YouTube. But X is becoming a all-in-one like app, is what Elon is creating. And if you go read Elon's biography, he says it in the book. Like that is what he's going to do with X, and you can already see it happening. So there are opportunities to be paid, right? We already know that people are getting paid for people who are engaging in their tweets, getting followers. And so this is the next iteration where you'll be able to get paid if you have a popular live stream on X. So go get started, go get familiarized, go maybe live stream your walk. If you're taking a walk, just play around with it, now's the time, because if you're one of the first early adopters, you have an advantage, right? So that's why we're sharing the news. And thank you so much, Keegan, for sharing that. I do want to go back, Young Scrimmage again, saying fun IRL activities, meetups are the hack for mass adoption. So
100%.
That was when we were talking about Luca and, snacks, and it is the hack. I agree with you. We agree with you. So let's move on to the next topic here. And so now we're going to get into the next layer here called the crypto policy layer. Okay. So last week, if you were watching the show, we had just shared that the Genius Act passed in the Senate. It got the majority vote. And so now it is on its way to the House. And the Genius Act was an act focused on having regulation for stable coins. And stable coins are coins that are stable in price, because the crypto is pegged and is equal to the dollar, right? So something like that is USDC. It's a 1-for-1. One USDC is pegged to the one American dollar. So that was last week. This week, today, there is more talk in the Senate. There was a hearing. And so there was a hearing with the subcommittee, and the subcommittee is some of the Senates, not all the Senate members, but some of the Senate members who are in charge of the digital assets and finance. they held a hearing with these 4 people. Okay, so there was a hearing. It was called Exploring Bipartisan Legislative Frameworks for Digital Asset Market Structure. Okay, so this is good. So they were hearing these 4 people: Sarah Hammer, who is the executive director, University of Pennsylvania Wharton School; Greg Zethelis, who is the general counsel of Multicoin Capital. They had Ryan Van Grack, who is the vice president of legal over at Coinbase, and then they had Rostin Benham. And Benham is the distinguished fellow, Sauer Center for Financial Markets and Policy, Georgetown University, and former chairman of the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Okay, so they held this hearing, and I was able to catch maybe like the last half hour of it. Stand with Crypto, so shout out to Stand with Crypto. They were also live streaming it, but they had like really good conversations. So the one leading this hearing was Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis, and so I love her. She, whether or not she's Republican, Democratic, she is a Republican, but I just love her because she is the one at the forefront helping to lead a lot of the crypto regulations that we need here in the US. And so FYI, my business is registered in Wyoming, and they are like the most crypto friendly state in all of the US, I would argue. So anyways, this is part of their live stream, and I have a note here that I wanted to fast forward to the timestamp 1 hour and 34 minutes because there is a clip that I wanted to show you from the live stream. So let me open this up. This is straight from the United States Senate Committee. What is wrong with my talk today? I don't know. But anyways, let's go to 1 hour and 34. Where are we at? Let's see. Right here, I think somewhere. Because one of the senators asks this really important question.
I think we want the federal
So let me make sure
agencies to.
I fast forward to it. If I can find it. Nope, I'm going too back. Maybe it was a little earlier. Nope. It was. Shoot. Oh, here we go. I think it's here.
I have at least one more question, and I know you do too. Do you have another? Okay. So we're going to do a second round, but I'm going to ask us to go with one.
Partners of regulators. They are also partners of the private industry. They are
Wait,
often.
I went too forward. No. Okay, let's just
one
play it.
until these people are exhausted. Exactly. Self.
No, this is not it. This is not it. Shoot. I thought I had it at the 134 mark was the note I made.
The market and is a support. They are a partner above all else,
It's-
having an S.
To regain leadership.
Okay, here we go. Here
in
we go. So
America.
this is from Senator Mr. Moreno. He's one of the senators. I think I want to say of Pennsylvania. I could be wrong, but he's one of the senators, and he asked this very important question because I guess apparently one of the things that is happening, of course, there's a lot of things happening with the Trump administration, and these things that are happening in politics. And unfortunately, they are impacting how people also see crypto. And so crypto, these regulations should be bipartisan, right? Meaning that there should be favor from both the Republican and Democratic side, right? Because these are regulations that are supposed to help the people of America. It's not necessarily to help just the Democrats or just the Republicans, right? So he wants to make sure that it is on record why this should be important for everyone. So let's just go here.
Both SEC and CFTC jurisdiction here, but the question is now, yours,
Sure.
Mr. Marino.
Well, thank you. So I'll ask you to each answer this as briefly as humanly possible. So try not to have your inner senator come out. So how much time do we have to regain leadership in America? And what's the price of failure in your mind? Start with Mrs. Hammer, go down the line.
Thank you, Senator. We need to act now. I believe that the U.S. is far behind other jurisdictions in terms of enacting a regulatory framework. And as my data shows in the written testimony, while we have had a lead in digital assets, others are rapidly catching up to us and perfectly poised to surpass us. We have to act now.
And what's the price of failure? Like, what does failure look like if we don't do anything, if we get mired in inaction?
Thank you, Senator. The price of failure is that we will have criminal activity, illicit activity in digital assets, fraud. We will have a more difficult time enforcing our rules and regulations, and we will have expensive, costly, time-consuming regulation by enforcement.
Thank you for the question, Senator. Not surprisingly, I also agree that the time to act is now. And I would say that there are two significant costs that come from not acting now. Is, as Ms. Hammer has pointed out, other jurisdictions are acting. And we saw the cost of that in global data protection, where more onerous rules coming from Europe and the GDPR regime have created, frankly, problems and liability concerns for internet commerce more broadly. We don't want the same thing to happen with the digital asset ecosystem. We want the rules to be created and be imbued with the DNA of American commercial practice, legal practice, and policy focus. The second cost is the economic one. And ownership of technology has been the great hallmark of America in the 20th century and the initial part of the 21st century. It was from the steam engine to the internet, but we faltered in the last 10 years. We've been behind on technologies like 5G. We've lost our silicon manufacturing capability, which started here and migrated abroad. We do not want to do the same with the next generation of the internet that has the possibility to transform not just financial transactions, but consumer transactions and how information flows.
Senator, for the sake of being brief, I'm not going to repeat some of the consequences, but I will disagree respectfully with my fellow panelists. The time to act was yesterday. Right? This technology was founded over 16 years ago, and here we are, nearly 2 decades later, where the industry is asking for rules and regulation. That is not unique. That is unprecedented in our founding, in our country. So in that interim, you've had investors lacking the full suite of protections. You've had innovators struggling to understand the rules of the road. And if they're not moving abroad, they are hiring armies of lawyers to try to understand what the rules are, or facing, like Coinbase did, spurious lawsuits to defend themselves against rules and regulations that have never been promulgated in the first instance. So I think the consequences are devastating, and I do not think we have any time to wait.
Senator, I'll take you down the regulator's point of view. I think I was a commissioner in the first Trump administration. I think wrote an op-ed in 2018 or 2019 saying we needed, a change in statute. And that was by virtue of the observations I had made at the commission back then, and then as chair in the Biden administration. Obviously, we heard about the entrepreneurial, innovative side, but from a regulatory enforcement standpoint, too much fraud, too much manipulation out there, constituents across the country getting hurt. I think in our fiscal year 2024 enforcement program, the CFTC's enforcement docket, 50% of it, near 50% of it was crypto related, which is an astonishing number for a market that the agency doesn't regulate. So gives you some sense of how much fraud is potentially going out there that the agency is just unable to identify or see because there's no traditional regulatory authority. So certainly the time to act is now.
So, Madam Chairman, I wanted that on the record. If we can see if it's possible for that transcript to get distributed to all the members of the banking committee, because this is a completely bipartisan point of view. There's no dispute that we squandered the last 4 years in not acting. And because we did that, we're now behind the 8 ball. And I know this place doesn't.
So yeah, There you go. So they understand that we are really behind because, yeah, like they pointed out, Satoshi Nakamoto, created the Bitcoin blockchain back in 2009. And here we are in the year 2025. And America largely has ignored American people and using crypto. And so now they're realizing, oh, a lot more people are using this, not just as individual people who might be buying, selling, trading crypto, but even larger businesses, retail, entrepreneurs are trying to use NFTs, digital assets, real world assets as a way for transparency, right? Because it's all recorded on blockchain. And these things are instant transactions, whereas we know transactions can be slow with checks or with your banking systems, right? So I thought it was really, really good hearing, and the senators seem to have been very receptive to all of the four people on the panel who were sharing their testimonies on what they see from their industries and why it is important. So right now they are working with the senators to create a digital asset market structure bill. So this is great. And yeah, I'll be staying more on top of what's happening with this. I find it really, really interesting. I was just telling Keegan before this, I was like, I never listened to those hearings, but because it's something that I'm involved in and participating in, I think it's important. I think it really is important to understand the conversations that are happening and then how they lead to bills and to acts being passed through Senate, going to the House, and ultimately being signed by our president. But any thoughts you wanted to share on this, Keegan?
Yeah, I mean, I know we've talked about this before for quite a few weeks now. Stable coins are going to be a huge, huge thing. And I think, like, in order to have that, this has to go hand in hand with that. Like, how are these markets, these structures, this guidance going to work? Like, you may have one piece, but if you don't have the other piece, it's not going to be fully rolled out. And so, by them having, different hearings, different discussions, getting that as reference points, this is all one big interconnected thing where the whole, in my opinion, the whole structure is moving in that direction with digital assets, with stable coins, with Bitcoin. It's just the rules haven't been written. And what they're saying is right. It's true. Like the fact that there was, enforcement and rules being written through enforcement kind of a deal with Gary Gensler from before. It's like, all right, that only hindered the growth. It hindered the creativity. It hindered teams from building and creating. And it's like that, in my opinion, is how things were when Bitcoin first came out. It's like, you shouldn't have to operate in the shadows and try and do these like underground deals and do all this like sketch. It shouldn't be like that. But because there was no guidance, because again, lack of understanding, like you're afraid of new tech, in my opinion. And so from their side of the house, but the fact that they're doing this now, the fact that it's moving in the direction, the fact that you have, the willingness of people to spend their time to create the bills, USDC is going to be normalized. Like Circle just went public at an IPO, I think 2 weeks ago. Like this is going to be here whether or not you like it or not. Like that's just the reality of the situation. So it makes sense to have a pulse and understand and kind of know where things are headed so that we can better prepare and kind of participate in the way we see fit. Maybe we're going to use USDC a lot more frequently within, next year. But maybe you're someone who's like, no, I only use cash. And that's just the way. Okay, fine. But if you're going to see this around a lot more, rather than be afraid, you should at least kind of understand it, So they're helping to build the laws. They're helping to build the guidance. And I'm here for that.
No, yeah, I agree. At first I was like, well, if crypto is decentralized, the blockchain is decentralized, why do we even need the US government to come in here and help with regulations? But now that I see more, it is hard. Like, right, when you're trying to like, what was it? I think it was last year or a couple years before that. When I was looking for a bank, a checking bank for my business, I wanted one that was going to be crypto friendly, because as a business, as an event company that does events with crypto tech companies, I figured I probably at one point or another will receive crypto as payment. So I wanted to make sure that I chose a bank that was crypto friendly. And at that time, there was really none. I had people who were getting flagged. They couldn't do their transactions and then deposit money or take out money because it was associated with crypto. The money came from crypto. And so, that's not right. So, but now that things are getting more adopted, there's more conversation. There is, a pro crypto administration right now. Now people are like, okay, maybe we can loosen the reins a little bit and let's take another look at this. And so now you do see these banks who are being more crypto friendly, which I think is a pro, right? It's okay. Like, we're still transacting on a decentralized network, but for those of us who are living in the United States, it is important to make sure that these other institutes understand what we're doing and that, they're in favor of it as well, such as banks. And on the other side is, if you do happen to get wrecked, right, or scammed, perhaps they can start something where you can go and make a report, right? And it's taken seriously. Like, hey, I was scammed $100,000, whatever have you. And maybe there can be unofficial investigation looking into that, right? There's not really something like that with our government at all. So I do see the pros of it. And I think this is all positive. And yeah, it was a really good hearing, I'd have to say. So yeah, we'll stay up to date with it, and let you guys know what is happening in the crypto policy space. But yeah, let's now move on, I think, to our last segment. So let me bring it up for you guys. There we go. So this is the segment Beyond the Layers, one of my favorite segments, because this is where we talk about other tech that is happening. And so with this tech, this is all about space tech. So just the other day, there is this observatory in Chile. It's been in the process of being built, I think, for the last decade, but it has some of the most top space instruments and technology to look deep into space. So this is an observatory called Rubin Observatory. And let me open it up, the link, and I'll read you their about section so we can learn more. So what is Rubin Observatory? So NSF DOE Verisy Rubin Observatory, jointly funded by the U.S. National Science Foundation and the U.S. Department of Energy Office of Science, is a brand new astronomy and astrophysics facility under construction on Cerro Pachón in Chile, with first light expected in 2025. It's named after astronomer Vera Rubin, who provided the first convincing evidence for the existence of dark matter. Rubin Observatory is the first of its kind. Its mirror design, camera sensitivity, telescope speed, and computing infrastructure are each in an entirely new category. The 8.4 meter Simony survey telescope at Rubin Observatory, equipped with the LSST camera, the largest digital camera ever built, will take detailed images of the southern hemisphere sky for 10 years, covering the entire sky every few nights and creating an ultra-wide, ultra-high definition time-lapse record, the largest astronomical movie of all time. This unique movie will bring the night sky to life, yielding a treasure trove of discoveries, asteroids and comets, pulsating stars, and supernova explosions. With Rubin data, we will gain a better understanding of our universe, delve into the mysteries of dark energy and dark matter, and reveal answers to questions we have yet to imagine. So, really cool project that has been funded by the U.S. And let me go back to this because they had mentioned the the LSS, I think it is LSST, which is the most highest what was it, digital camera ever built. So here's a little bit more about it. So the Legacy Survey of Space and Time, the LSST. So Rubin Observatory will take hundreds of images of the Southern Hemisphere sky every night for 10 years for a survey called the LSST, the Legacy Survey of Space and Time. The data from these images will be used by astronomers around the world to make countless discoveries, but Rubin Observatory was specifically designed to advance four science areas. The first, which is understanding the nature of dark matter and dark energy. Second, creating an inventory of the solar system. Third, mapping the Milky Way. And fourth, exploring the transient optical sky, like studying objects that move or change in brightness. Rubin Observatory will produce about 20 terabytes of data every night during the 10-year survey. By the end of the survey, the resulting data set will be enormous, about 60 petabytes. Most of the astronomers who make discoveries using this data will never have seen the telescope in person. Instead, they will access the data using an online portal called the Rubin Science Platform. They won't need expensive equipment or computing power, just an internet browser. This is the first time this much astronomical data will be available to so many people, and there's no telling what discovery scientists will make using Rubin Observatory. So, with that being said, let's go back to this YouTube. So let me
Odyssey,
commercial.
the #1 putter on tour.
Okay. All right. So what we're about to look at, that was weird. Okay, let's go back. Okay, what we're about to look at, okay? So this is the description. Made from over 1,100 images captured by NSF DOE Verisy Rubin Observatory, the video begins with a close-up of 2 galaxies, then zooms out to reveal about 10 million galaxies. Those 10 million galaxies are roughly 0.05% of the approximately 20 billion galaxies Rubin Observatory will capture during this 10-year Legacy Survey of Space and Time. So these are the first images we are about to watch, over 1,100 images compiled together. So let's see it for the first time. So those were the very first images ever from the Rubin Observatory. And those were the first 1,100 images. And it's pretty crazy to see what did it say? How many terabyte? I forget, but it was like a lot of terabyte per day, which is ultimately over 10 years is going to be 60 petabytes. I didn't even know that was a term, petabyte, but that's a large amount of data. And I'm sure we're about to see a lot of discoveries coming out of this from all the different astronomers around the world looking at these images. So yeah, any thoughts?
The images look like it reminded me of when I was younger. I used to have marbles, and like there was this like galaxy I think they used to be called Galaxy marbles, like the type. There was different types. There was like anybody. I'm dating myself, but if you had marbles, you'd remember there's different types. It was like, you know, a different like frost, oily, like dinosaur egg, I think, kind of like in this. But there was like one that was like all black like that, and it had all these different mixed colors in it.
Uh-huh.
That's what it reminded me of. But anyway, I mean, looking at the Galaxy, like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, you know, I think there's a lot of stuff to explore that we've yet to explore, but the tech needs to catch up, which it's pretty much almost there, I feel like. And I think we'll see it in our lifetime, a little more space travel.
Ooh, space travel. Yeah, definitely. But I think with this, I think one of the coolest things that this project has kept in mind is that with the technology, they're just uploading it to the internet, which they say is basically the astronomers themselves. They don't have to travel to Chile to go to the observatory to see the night sky. That they are sharing that data with astronomers all over the world so that they don't have to travel. So I think that is awesome. And I think we need more stuff like that where, you know, they share the data openly, either publicly, and if not publicly, at least with the experts that are in that industry. So yeah, I just love stuff like that. I love things all space, and maybe one day I could go to Chile and go check it out myself. But that is the highest digital camera ever made, the LSST. So I wonder how it would look if we took a selfie on it. Probably could look deep inside ourselves. I don't know if I want that. But yeah, I think that concludes our show. Let me make sure. Let's go back to sharing the screen. Here we go. Wait. Why isn't it showing? There we go. So yeah, that concludes our show. Want to say thank you again to Keegan. Oh wait, before I close the show, I forgot. Let's talk about some upcoming events. Right now we have NFT NYC. Keegan and I are not there. I needed a break, so I'm cool with it. I hope everyone out there is having a safe and fun time. But there are some upcoming events to look forward to if you couldn't make it out to NFT NYC either. If you're in the San Diego area, this Saturday, there is going to be a Baddies on the Blockchain event. So I will be going. It's this Saturday from 1 to 6. And it's a beauty forward intro to crypto curated by Barra Baddies and Beauty on the Blockchain. Whether you're crypto curious or just here for the vibes, you're in the right place. This experience is created exclusively with women in mind. Come learn, connect, and glow alongside other powerful femmes stepping into the future of technology via Web3. So if you've got your mom, your sister, or you got a neighbor who is a female, invite her to this because they're going to have a Crypto 101 workshop and they're going to have a wallet demo. They're going to talk about Barra Baddie staking. There's going to be a lip lab, cocktails, brunch bites. There's going to be the baddie closet with merch and my favorite chipped nails, which has a microchip inside the thumb. Content creation zone, NFT minting on Zora. So there is a lot, and this is going to be at the Edge Wallet headquarters here in San Diego. And so, yeah, shout out to Fari who is putting this event together. I am always up for a little girly crypto action. And if you're not in the area, then something you can maybe look into is the Base event. So Base is going to have an event in July, and this is to kick off On-Chain Summer. So Base is known to have really, really awesome events for On-Chain Summer. And this is going to be a new day one is what they're calling it. So you can go register if you go onto the Base account, and it was posted on the 23rd, so just yesterday. And underneath it, there is a link to register. I will say if you registering does not guarantee access. You do have to be approved. So might as well go register now. The early bird gets the worm. So I went ahead and registered. So fingers crossed I get accepted so we can go. But it's on July 16th, 3 p.m. in Los Angeles. So that is coming up. And then lastly, an event that Keegan and I will be going to is Rare Evo. So Rare Evo is a conference around all chains, but it's predominantly focused on Cardano. So if you've been wanting to learn more about Cardano, anything from coins to NFTs to staking to just the blockchain overall, Rare Evo is going to be a good conference for you to go. It is in Las Vegas this year from August 6th through 10th. And if you're interested in going, you can use the code REDRUG for 10% off your tickets. So we're really, really happy to be able to provide that for you because we are officially partnered with Rare Evo. Keegan and I will be doing content, interviews, and live streams there. So if you will be there and you have a project and you want to get some FaceTime, let us know and we'll try to work it out with you and get you on camera. So I don't know. Anything else, Keegan? Anything else from you? Any other events that we should know about?
San Diego FC, non-crypto related event. They're playing actually on the 16th as well of July. So go support them, the soccer team, if you're here in San Diego. But aside from that, I mean, yeah, they're playing July 5th here. Crypto related events, blockchain. No, those are the three that I'm aware of as well. Yeah, obviously everything's going on in New York. I wish we could go and make that trip. You know, I think we just had to weigh some pros and cons with it, unfortunately. And so, yeah, for those of you that didn't make it out either, well, I'm glad we're able to help provide this avenue for talks, discussions, and yeah, I'm sure other stuff will come up too. Like summer usually has a lot of stuff going on. So
Yeah.
July is right around the corner.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to probably do something maybe at some point, and
Yeah,
maybe
stay tuned.
we'll have more
Stay
live stream stuff because we have the
Yes.
live stream kind of gear set up right now. So
Yes, we do. So stay tuned because speaking of SDFC, which is the newest soccer team out of MLS here in San Diego, me and the other meetup group here in San Diego called DRMZ, which was founded by Chili and Rodrigo, we're going to collaborate and we are going to do a meetup at the SDFC game. So if you're into that, if you're into soccer, and you're into crypto, and you're into tailgating, then this is going to be an event for you. There will be more information coming up, but this will be tailgating and crypto for you guys. So it'll be something a little fun and definitely a good community to be out there with and help people understand what crypto is and create a wallet. So there'll be some fun little activations we'll have as well. So stay tuned for the Luma link and more information. I will definitely share more when we have it. So other than that, I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in. And of course, thank you to our sponsors with Keegan's 10KTF Teaching Tuesdays. Make sure you check him out every Tuesday. At what time, Keegan?
well, I'm kind of on the summer schedule right now, it seems like. So probably 7 o'clock tonight. I'll do the post in a little bit here because I want to make sure we get our cardio in and get our walk/run in. So 7 or 7:30 tonight.
Okay, so stay tuned today for 7 or 7:30. If you want to know when he makes the post, just make sure to give him a follow at __Keegan __. He does have a personal brand called Ground Game Strong. Do you want to say a little quick something about that?
Yeah, I mean, I already touched on it a little bit with some of the leader talk that we talked about. But I mean, you know, my personal brand, Ground Game Strong, represents showing up, being present, and making an impact. And I think we all can do that in different ways. If not on all three avenues, at least one of those avenues. And so, yeah, the Gold Star is a homage to me when I was in the classroom. I used to give Gold Stars out to my students, and I actually still give Gold Stars out to my colleagues at the district office as well. And everybody seems to like it. And so that's kind of how I got the idea. But, you know, the Ground Game Strong part came from just kind of like doing what we do, which is showing up, being present, and making an impact in some way. Like, we've traveled to a lot of events. We've gone to a lot of places. We've done plenty of live stream, plenty of space it. Like, we put a lot of hours into this. So I figured that doing a personal brand makes sense. And so more things to come in July for that. And yeah, check it out if you're interested in a shirt or a hat or anything. I have the store in my X profile. And so, yeah, check it out and stop by tonight, 10 KTF Teaching Tuesdays as well. More than happy to have anybody stop in and talk shop.
Awesome. And of course, thank you to our sponsor, Red Rug Edutainment, where you get to experience the fun of Web3, and everyone who attends a Red Rug event is not just a VIP on a red carpet, but a VIP on the red rug. Everyone gets to feel like they're VIPs. So thank you so much. And yeah, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Layers with V Dizzle. Just go on YouTube, type in Layers with V Dizzle, and it should pop up. But we're trying to grow out the channel. What's
you
that?
Want to show them the page so they can see?
Sure. I didn't have that ready, but let me pull it up. You're making me do more work
our
here.
visual learners, they probably want to see.
Layers with V Dizzle. Okay, so that's all you have to do is type it in, and you'll see this profile, Layers with V Dizzle, and go ahead, click it, and then you can subscribe right there. I would really appreciate it. I'm working on doing some content, shorter form content, but if you like this stream, you like the information we're providing you in bite-sized chunks and entertaining ways, then I would really appreciate the support if you go and subscribe, because that helps us to do better productions and also collaborate with others as well. It gives us a, reputable reputation with the more subscribers that we have. So yeah, appreciate it. And I don't know, any other closing thoughts or words from you, Keegan?
No, I think that's it. I just hope everybody's having a great day and a great week. And, it's summer now, full swing. And yeah, July's right around the corner. Be safe out there and share the news and awareness with people that, you think could benefit from learning about crypto right now. So yeah.
Amazing. And if you're interested, if anyone who's watching is interested in sponsoring the show, go ahead and shoot us a DM. You can get your logo anywhere on our overlays or even in the ticker, as you can see down below. Your company can go there, but go ahead and DM us for any sponsorship opportunities. But other than that, we'll catch you again next Tuesday. I'm still deciding between the 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. slot. If you guys like it at 3, let me know. If you prefer the 1 o'clock or even a different slot, let me know. The only thing is I just don't want to interfere with Keegan's 10 KTF Teaching Tuesdays, which is anywhere that starts around 6 or 7 p.m. So that's the only thing. But if it's any other time before that, it works. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and stay safe. And yeah, keep showing up. We appreciate it. All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.